Okay, welcome everybody. This is Matt Klos, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of the studio here, just talking about an upcoming workshop going on at Art New England this summer. So I'm going to switch this around in just a minute. So welcome for those of you that are coming in. I'm actually coming to you from my basement here in sunny Maryland, and this is a very typical basement. I'm going to switch the view here. Very typical basement in my neck of the woods. And what I do down here is, I escape from the kids. But essentially, this is where I've set up all of my still lifes. So my ideas, this is a larger painting that I've been working on. And you'll see here, if I pan around to the other side of the interior, this is actually the subject for that larger oil painting. And my viewpoint is sort of this aerial perspective here of all of these wonderful little objects that are, some of these are nicer sort of vases and pots that I couldn't get away, just couldn't get rid of. And others are sort of, really junk, from household projects that I've sort of held on to. So this is the painting that I've been working on, which is actually a good example to look at in terms of the concept of this workshop, which is finding a gestalt or an overall sort of idea or ethic for still life. And you will see, I'm just going to pan around a little bit. There's a couple still lifes over here that I'm working on, a couple plein air landscapes, my slop sink, and here are a couple other small still life paintings. And these also sort of relate to this idea of the gestalt. This might be a more traditional still life in terms of just a few objects on a surface tabletop. But what you'll see, that the reason that I think a painting like this carries fairly well is that, all of these moments, like if you look at the, this lighter area here on the foreground ground plane, and the lighter area here inside this cast iron saucepan, they're both whites, but there is a marked separation between this white and this. So it really is about kind of holding together that overall idea of the one movement to the other. Here's another example. This area here, this sort of violet in the lower corner, that violet gray. And there's still violets in this back section, but they just are somewhat darker and somewhat more neutral than these. So it sort of holds that together. So, all right, so let's take that idea, and if you take that idea and you transpose some of those concepts in this particular still life painting, which is very much a still life within a greater interior-exterior scene. This was painted, these objects on the tabletop, right in front of this plate glass window with the sidewalk outside. So the way to get this painting to work, going back to that idea of big shape, structure, or gestalt, is all of these sort of micro variations, light, dark, warm, cool, really are holding together in sort of a cool world against this very hot, light, kind of yellowish, peachy-based area out the window. So that's kind of how you get the whole thing to hold together. So the workshop is really, dealing with that. These are a couple other things that I wanted to show you. These are pastel drawings, and they are... you'll see one of them, this one, is a little bit more crisped up, much more sort of detail and resolution. But the reason that I'm showing you this is like a, it's essentially a 6-color pastel painting, you know, just 6 different tones and color choices laid out very rapidly. And initially, the reason that these are so great to do, you know, these sort of like reduced paintings, or, you know, pastel paintings in this case, is that you really start to collapse things. Like this is similar to this, is similar to this. But when you go to, you know, really completing your painting idea, it's enough to begin to say, oh, wow, these all share that sensibility. But then to really finish the painting and to bring in the complexity that maybe we're seeing in a painting like this or like this, is that we have to now start to tease these apart. Like, how is this different than this, and then again different to that? Which actually brings me back to the, you know, the last thing I wanted to show you in this group. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see questions or hear questions from you all. But this is a painting that I'm working on of a similar motif to that 6-tone painting that I just showed you. It's this little vignette here that I'm working on. But you can see, again, you know, these sort of, they're very closely related. It's hard to tell in this live feed any real variation. But what I'm starting to do with the mixtures is I'm saying, okay, gosh, they're all really close. But the big difference that I'm starting to find is that this is a little bit more golden in color. It's actually a little darker than these notes on the plate. So what that means is when I go to the palette, I'll show you my palette real quick. Just mixing up some color. And we'll see if these colors show up for you. So I'm mixing these. I have, what is this? 7 different variations of those sort of warm, orangey, golden colors. Some of these, I started a little on the cool side. And what I'm going to do is start to locate those colors into this area. I'll probably start with the jug, because I think that jug needs to slightly darken and become a little bit warmer to really start to have a communication with that saucer underneath. So here we'll go back to that kind of vignette. So I don't know, would you agree? I think this saucer's a little lighter, maybe a little less warm, but again, it's kind of washed out, a little washed out on our screen here. But okay, so that's a quick overview. So during the week, we are going to be, we'll do a number of different paintings, fast paintings, and then we'll be working in the afternoons on longer duration paintings. We'll probably have 2 of those, and what that'll allow us to do is to go back into these paintings 3 times over the course of the week to really develop a couple more robust sort of finished studio pieces, and then we'll have a number of these very rapidly done, you know, I might call them kind of thought paintings, where we're working out ideas, we're starting and finishing that painting just in one go. So yeah, so I hope you'll join me. I've got, you know, I think there's 1 person in the workshop so far. A couple years ago, my first time at A&E, we had a really, you know, robust group. There were 12 of us in that workshop. Lots of fun. Obviously, this is remote, so it's a slightly different format, but you'll get lots of one-on-one interaction. And we'll have lectures. You know, I'll do Zoom lectures with slides, with images, revolving around the concepts that we'll be working with. So let's see. I wonder if I can see any questions or hear any questions in this. Some people waved. That's very nice. Let's see if I can wave back. I can do, oh, whoa. That's amazing. So I can do all sorts of effects here. So please sign up. Any questions at all? You know, I'm wondering if there are questions that you want to drop in the chat. I'm just going to, these are great. I'm going to use all these little features. Oh, wow. This is great. So yes, I hope you'll join me. And maybe before I sign out, I will just kind of pan back through the basement. Oh, this is actually, I don't know if any of you know Liz Geiger. You may know Liz. She's a fabulous painter. Her husband as well, Phil. Let me spotlight this. But I've been going down to their place. They live in Stanton. And let's see if I can find a good view here. It's a little washed out. But, you know, I've been doing a number of interiors in their house. It's this beautiful old Victorian house. It's essentially like a castle. And, you know, just trying to find opportunities for the starkness of the window to have that glittering sort of exterior effect. And then to try to almost create, you know, this. I spent a lot of time starting to develop. I mean, this is a very fast, you know, painting. It's not quite done, but probably half the time on this painting was spent with this chair back here, you know, just trying to like pick out these spindles and, you know, these sort of micro variations, and yet it sort of disappears within the overall effect of the painting. You know, we've got these real stark contrast points that surround it. And that's one of the things that I really love about, you know, some of my favorite painters. I'm thinking of, I don't know, Dewing or Whistler, you know, some of these really terrific painters. Maybe Susan Lickman is a painter you're familiar with. But you look at these paintings and they have this really profound, big shape structure. You know, they're very powerful in that way. But then the longer that you spend with the painting, the more that you notice these beautiful little subtleties, these beautiful little variations. And that's what's so great about art, you know, about making these drawings and paintings, is to sort of infuse that delicateness within an overall structure. So, all right, without further ado, and if no one has a question, and I still have sparkles on me. I don't know how I did that. Okay. All right, changed it up a little bit. But yes, without further ado, I hope you will join me, and we'll be beginning in July. So look for Finding the Gestalt, painting with Matt Klos. Okay, thanks for joining me today. Bye.